Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 18th of November, 2020, to talk about everything that went down tonight on NXT and AEW Dynamite. So with that, I thought both shows were pretty good. I'm going to say it now. I think AEW slightly had the better show. I do think that AEW was a little bit better tonight. And I mean, that's all up into interpretation. Some of you may think that NXT was better. Some of you may agree with me and think Dynamite was better. So let's jump right into it. But I want to say thank you to everybody who was here with us tonight, both on twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited and over here on youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are here on Twitch, we're still trying to raise money for victims of the Creek Fire. I know people personally that have been displaced. I know one or two families. I think one family was able to go back home. I know one family that is still living with their relatives, and another family, unfortunately, that did lose their home altogether. We are trying to raise money for them, so everything we do make here on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, will go back into helping those families in need as we get closer to Christmas time. And the way you guys can help out is by hitting that donate button down below, by giving Twitch bits, or by subscribing one of two ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. Or actually now it's called Prime Gaming. But with Prime Gaming, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. Absolutely free, included in your Twitch in your Amazon Prime subscription. And we greatly appreciate it if you did that and helped us out here on Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We've already raised, let me see, almost $400 that's going to go to helping these families. And I want to keep growing that number so we can help out many, many more. But with that, we're kicking it off talking about AEW Dynamite. If you're watching on Twitch, fill out that poll and let us know what you think. So Dynamite kicked off with the Young Bucks versus Top Flight. I thought this match was really, really fun. I thought this was a great match, a great showcase for Top Flight. Also, guys, let me know if my microphone's too loud. I had to do some tweaking with it because it stopped working earlier. So if my mic is too loud, if I'm sounding too loud, let me know and I'll lower it down. But going forward, this was a non-title match, and the action was just boom, 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 fast, fast, fast. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Basically the entire time. And it was amazing. Nick and Darius started off as the ladder countered Nick's usual opening sequence of offense. Matt and Dante tagged in, and Top Flight hit stereo kicks before kicking Nick off the apron. Top Flight took a dive, backflipped off the ropes. Nick got a blind tag, and down to Dante with a super kick. Matt hit a drop kick through the ropes on Darius before the Bucks isolated Dante with frequent tags. Matt locked on a sharpshooter, then powerbombed Dante onto his brother. Excuse me. The Bucks then set up for the Meltzer driver, but Dante fought out and made a one-man comeback before reaching his brother for the hot tag. Darius hit a clothesline and a Spanish fly, but Nick broke up the tag. Darius hit a tope suicida, and Dante hit a tope con hilo on both Bucks. Dante then barely made it up for a flip into a tope Frankensteiner, or top rope Frankensteiner, before a near fall. Matt then avoided a dive and nailed a spear. Nick tagged in and distracted Darius with a kick. The finish of the match then came when the Bucks hit a sliced bread powerbomb combination, and Darius broke it up. But then the Bucks went for more buck for your bang, and Darius countered into a crucifix for a great near fall. And then the Bucks finally hit the BTE trigger and picked up the victory. So with that, the Young Bucks did defeat Top Flight. But hey, Top Flight looked amazing. They looked great. They're going to be big stars probably in AEW. Not in the next 2 months, not in the next 5 months, not in the next year. But going down the line, they're going to be a team that I think AEW can really build their tag team division maybe around. Give me 1 second to fix my camera here, guys. Let me just push it. There we go. I was getting a little bit of a weird coloring on it. All right, so Going forward after the match, TH2 came out and beat down Top Flight. The Bucks chased them off and raised Top Flight's arms. Now, unless you watched AEW Dark yesterday, this would make absolutely no sense. So yesterday on Dark, they revealed a new segment. It was called Dr. Britt Baker's The Waiting Room, and her guests were TH2. TH2 stated that they want to come after the tag titles. They feel like the Young Bucks have just made this all about them and their company and their division. Well, because of that, they said they're going to start taking out teams. And it looked like they were starting that tonight. The Inner Circle was in Las Vegas. Showed a bunch of hijinks and gambling. MJF kept trying to buddy up with Chris Jericho and Santana, while Sammy Guevara and Ortiz resisted his charm. Jake Hager and Wardlow never took their eyes off of each other, and MJF and Jericho competed to see who can order the most alcoholic drink. And then, in a major shocker, frickin' Conan would appear. And he and the Inner Circle departed a smoke-filled car. And the interesting thing about this is Santana and Ortiz brought in Conan, right? Well, that's an LAX reunion. Because in Impact, the quote-unquote new LAX was Conan, Santana, and Ortiz. And I think Diamante as well. They then started seeing dragons, Piff the Magic Dragon, that is. And then it said, to be continued. We then got a commercial. Well, actually, no. I think it was the full collaboration between AEW and Director X, whoever that was. This was okay looking. It looked cool and everything, but it was kind of like they tried too hard to make themselves look over the top, great, amazing stars. And then you got guys like Hangman saying, we've been overlooked. Fuck overlooked. Hangman was offered a contract by WWE and turned it down. Britt Baker said the same thing. She was offered a deal by WWE, turned it down. So you can't say, we're all the outcasts. Nobody wanted us, but then we made our own statements. No, because there were some people in AEW that were signed early on that were given contracts or offers by WWE and tryouts and whatnot, but then went with AEW. Another one of those is Penelope Ford, but she wasn't featured in this little video. So going forward, Jon Moxley cut a promo. He wondered how he was able to have such a long championship reign. He chalked it up to advice from his father. Moxley said he's got the whole world bearing down on him. A broken body, and a pregnant wife at home. He then remembers his dad reminding him that they're the good guys. He's the best wrestler in the world and his dad's son. And he kind of just skimmed over the whole, he said, my body's broken down. It hurts sometimes just to get out of bed. I got a pregnant wife at home. And it's like, whoa, pregnant wife at home? Oh, snap, Renee's pregnant. Congratulations to these two. I want to say congratulations to both Jon Moxley and Renee Paquette. Great to hear. You're going to be parents. No better joy in the world than having children. I'm going to say it right now. I got 2 of them, as you guys all know. Our poll has subsided here as far as AEW Dynamite goes. What did you guys think? 67% of you on Twitch said that you liked it. 25% said it was all right, and 8% didn't really like it. So going forward, we had Orange Cassidy versus Kip Sabian with Miro on commentary. Match is all right. I kind of got a little bored of it in the middle. At one point, Penelope Ford tried to stop Cassidy from getting back in the ring after he was thrown to the outside. No, he had a dive to the outside. Sabian then took the advantage with a kick and a gut buster for a 2. Ford taunted Cassidy on the floor, and Sabian countered his beatdown during the break. They fought on the top rope, and Cassidy pushed Sabian off and landed a crossbody. Cassidy missed a diving DDT, but was able to eventually hit it after a reverse exchange. Sabian rolled to the outside to avoid the orange punch and stumbled on a springboard, but then impressed. Hold on, I wrote this way wrong. This is Orange Cassidy stumbled a little bit on a dive, but then hit an impressive brainbuster and a soccer kick for a 2. He then hit a Michinoku driver and followed it up with a great near fall. Cassidy countered out of a swinging neck breaker to an inside cradle, then locked on the mousetrap to pick up the victory. So with that, Orange Cassidy does defeat Kip Sabian, and then probably one of the scariest things I've seen in a long time, Miro jumps out of his chair at commentary, runs down to the ring almost faster than like Ray Phoenix would, and just whoom, right over the top rope. He just grabs that rope and jumps right over. Fucking a guy of Miro's size jumping over the top rope and running down that fast. Get the fuck out of there. That's scary as hell. Very scary. Miro then laid out Orange Cassidy after the match. Best Friends ran down and chased everybody away. Going forward, we learned that, well, winter is coming on December 2nd. That's what they're branding the December 2nd edition of AEW Dynamite. After Dynamite went off the air, Tony Khan came out to address the crowd and said that you don't want to miss December 2nd. It's going to be the biggest and best episode of Dynamite they've ever put on. Next up, we had the John Moxley, Kenny Omega contract signing. Well, we were supposed to. Omega got his elaborate entrance, but then Moxley never came out when his music played. They cut to the back where we saw Moxley with a bloody nose and laid out backstage. Doc Sampson and Jerry Lynn were checking him out. Some others were there as well. And Omega was unfazed as he, well, just signed the contract. We got part 2 of the Inner Circle Slays Las Vegas. The Inner Circle were all very drunk and welcomed an Elvis impersonator as the newest member of the Inner Circle. MJF said that he loves the Inner Circle. He said it's like a blood brotherhood, but Guevara took it literally and threatened to cut himself. MJF noted that it's a full moon, and then they all howled. They woke up in the morning, and all kinds of hangover shenanigans had taken place. Jericho was in bed with Elvis. MJF woke up in the bathtub. He approached Guevara. We see Sammy Guevara in... Oh, no. I missed the spot here. So, MJF had a bunch of writing on his face. That's what it was. Santana was hanging out with chickens. Sammy Guevara was in this little, I guess you could say fountain. And then realized that he got married 3 times in Vegas. He had 3 different wedding rings and 3 pictures from his wives. And then we hear like a baby crying. Wow, wow, wow. And Jericho opens the door and it's none other than frickin' Swoggle, who was dressed in a diaper. And this is all just basically references to The Hangover. It was all right. I thought it was a little over dramatic. And then Jericho jumps on commentary just to randomly say, Inner Circle back in action next week. Me and Hager taking on SCU. And they just disappeared. So next up, we had Pac versus The Blade with Eddie Kingston on commentary. This was Blade's first one-on-one match ever, I think, in AEW, if I'm correct. Let me know in the comments or the chat. I think that's correct. This was Blade's first ever one-on-one match, and it was Pac's first match in over 8 months. This match actually got more time than I expected as well. Pac leveled Blade right as the bell rang, and he hit him with some stomps. He sent Blade into the barricade and hit a missile dropkick back in the ring. Pac confronted Butcher, and Blade took advantage with the baseball slide. Blade hit a release brainbuster with Pac as Pac landed awkwardly. Pac went for a slingshot DDT, but the move didn't quite hit like I think he wanted. Bunny grabbed Pac's leg, and Butcher attacked from behind as Blade distracted the referee. Blade hit a gut-wrench powerbomb for a 2. After a commercial break, Pac fired up with some forearms and a pump kick. He hit a thrust kick, but Blade hit a power slam for a 2. They fought on the top rope, and Pac won the exchange after a superplex. Bunny then distracted Pac yet again from hitting the Black Arrow, and Butcher tried to attack him, but Pac dispatched him. Blade rolled him up and had a handful of tights, but only got a near fall off of it. Pac kicked out and hit a shooting star press and immediately applied the brutalizer to pick up the submission victory. So after the match, Pac grabs the mic and started to address Eddie Kingston, but before he could really say much, he was then attacked by the Butcher. Butcher and Blade beat down Pac as Kingston taunted him in the ring. Ray Phoenix would then run out to try to make the save, and he got beat down as well. Then, Penta would come out. steel chair in hand. Teased attacking his brother. Teased attacking his brother with a chair. That said that weird. And then, instead, went after Kingston, sending Butcher and Blade packing as Kingston ran away as well. Pac and the Lucha Brothers celebrated, and Phoenix made that death triangle, I guess you could say, gesture that they made many months back, signifying that the death triangle is back. So eventually I think we're going to get a 6-man where it's Kingston, Butcher and Blade versus Death Triangle. Because next week, it's Butcher and Blade versus Pac and Phoenix. All of a sudden, Tony Schiavone goes, I'm getting word there's an altercation backstage. I don't know exactly what's going on. We're trying to get a camera on there. Okay, here we go. And it was Jade Cargill beating up Brandy as Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose were holding back the referees. She had Brandy's arm in a steel chair, stomped to the steel chair, and I don't know, maybe Brandy's got a broken arm now. Big Swole and I want to say Red Velvet ran up and ran off Jade Cargill, Vicky, and Nyla. So I don't know why Vicky and Nyla are involved in all this and where that leads to. But we'll see. They said that Brandy needed to be checked out by the trainers. And she wasn't really screaming as if the arm was broke, so I don't think it's quite a broken arm. Even though she got stomped in a chair, which that should be, in wrestling terms, a broken something. With that going forward, we have the NWA Women's World Championship match. Serena Deeb defending against Thunder Rosa. And I got to ask you guys a question. I got to know what you guys think of this. Do you think that All Elite Wrestling puts more emphasis and importance on the NWA Women's Championship than their own Women's Championship? I feel they do. I really do. Because we actually get stuff built up for the NWA Women's Championship matches. When we get an AEW Women's title match, it's kind of just like, oh, hey, randomly, this match is happening next week. Like we learned tonight. Anna Jay's just randomly challenging Sheeta next week because she's ranked number 5. Like, Sheeta hasn't wrestled since the pay-per-view, I believe. Let me see. Sheeta hasn't wrestled since Full Gear. She wasn't on Dynamite last week or this week. She wasn't on Dark last week or this week. It's like, fuck. You guys seem to put more emphasis on this NWA Women's World title than you do your own frickin' world title. But despite that, and the interference in this match, I thought this match was really well worked. So Thunder Rosa gained the advantage early with an arm drag and a senton. She had hit a hip attack on the apron. Yet Deeb caught her upon re-entry and hit a dragon screw to take control. The announcers mentioned that the NWA and Billy Corgan by name. Rosa fought back with a drop toe hold and repeated corner lariats. Deeb hit a neck breaker over the ropes and an apron a spear. Rosa fought out of a GTS and nailed a German suplex. She landed a missile dropkick and sent Deeb to the outside. One second, guys. My mouth's getting a little dry. There we go. As they were on the outside, Rebel came out and distracted the referee as Baker laid out Rosa on the ramp. Hit her with a swinging neck breaker. Deeb then landed a powerbomb, but only got a near fall off of it. They exchanged cradle attempts before Deeb applied a Koji clutch. Rosa fought out with a double stomp, and they went to another cradle exchange before Deeb hit a modified Angel's Wings for the 3. So Serena Deeb does successfully defend the title here tonight. After the match, Rosa attacked Baker, and referees and whatnot broke this up, held them apart. So I guess the next feud in AEW is Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Interesting that Thunder Rosa is being used like a regular member of the roster despite being signed to AEW and saying she's still got a year left on her NWA contract. We'll see. They then said, speaking of the women's division, we got to send you to John Silver and Anna Jay, who got a big announcement. And as I stated earlier, it was that Anna Jay will be challenging next week for the AEW Women's World Championship. They also announced Pac versus Phoenix next week. Pac and Phoenix versus the Butcher and the Blade next week. I think Will Hobbs will be in action. hold on. I didn't write it down. I got the tweet, though, of exactly what was announced for tonight. It was Car Shooter versus Anna Jay for the title next week. Will Hobbs in action. Pac and Phoenix versus the Butcher and the Blade. And Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus SCU's Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. So let me move to our main event. And Taz was on commentary for this, and I thought the match itself was good, but I expected a little more out of it, to be 100% honest. So Darby Allin and Ricky Starks, wow, I'm retarded, started off the match with some chain wrestling and ended in a stalemate. Allin fired up with a Thez press as Cody and Cage tagged in. They hit big moves on each other, concluding with Cody nailing a moonsault press for a near fall. Taz left commentary and kind of had a little meeting with his team. And I loved early on in the match, right before the match starts, he was like, oh, they were trying to figure out what this shirt Cody was wearing was. And it was like a rib on Shaq, because Shaq is like a big-time person within Papa John's. And so it's supposed to be like a Cody has his own pizza place kind of deal. And then I love how Taz goes, oh, yeah, you got Arn Anderson over there who carries around the Waffle House menu. That was real funny. But during the break, Taz broke up Cody's flurry of offense, which enraged Arn Anderson. Arn tossed a chair into the ring and was ejected from the match. Cage and Starks isolated Cody with frequent tags. Cody reached Allin for a hot tag. Allin ran wild on Team Taz and jackknifed Cage for a 2 count. He set up for a German suplex on Starks, but Cage came in and suplexed them both. Cody cut Cage off with a disaster kick before being leveled with a spear. Allin then hit a shotgun dropkick and fought out of a powerbomb into a Yoshi Tonic for a great near fall. Starks went for a Yoshambo, but Cody cut it off and hit the crossroads. Cage then flattened Allin with a spinning clothesline and dispatched Cody with a Saito suplex. The finish then came when Cage perched Allin on the top rope. Allin fought him off, but Starks stopped a coffin drop, and Cage hit an avalanche drill claw to pin the TNT champion. So it looks like Cage is going to be getting a title shot here rather soon. After the match, Team Taz continued their beatdown when Will Hobbs would run out with a chair to make the save. He picked up the FTW championship and appeared to taunt Team Taz, but turned around and laid out Cody. It appears that Hobbs has now joined Team Taz, as Hobbs, Starks, Taz, and Cage all stood over Cody and Allin as the show went off the air. So overall, I thought Dynamite was the better show. There were a few things in NXT that I think were better than anything on Dynamite, but the way I'm looking at this, though, is as a whole, I think Dynamite was better. There were things on NXT that I really didn't care for. We'll talk about that here in a moment as we set up our poll as far as what you guys thought tonight's NXT. Remember also, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. What did you think of tonight's NXT? Liked it? Whoop, that's not how you spell that. It was alright. I didn't like it. Alright, we got that poll going on Twitch. Let me know what you guys thought of NXT. NXT opened up with the new North American champion, Leon Ruff, and a recap of his title win last week. Ruff came out with the belt before a video recap began to tell the story of his journey. Gargano would interrupt, and Gargano cut a promo on him. Excuse me. He then hit Ruff with a cheap shot before the bell rang, and the match then started. Well, this match goes, and they're trying to give Leon Ruff offense this week. They're trying to make him more serious, and we see a more serious side as well later. But it was just like the way this match ended. Oh boy, I hope they don't ruin the North American title. Gargano got heat on Ruff early, but Ruff fought back. He fired up Gargano, and that led to Ruff doing a flip dive on the top rope. Gargano then cut him off, and then he twice threw Ruff like a long dart into the corner. Gargano was measuring Ruff for an attack when Damian Priest would enter the scene. His presence distracted Gargano, and Ruff rolled him up for a near fall. Ruff missed a senton bomb, and then ate a super kick from Gargano. Gargano delivered a one final beat, and he covered Ruff. But Priest came down to ringside, and he pulled Ruff out of the ring. Priest then looked at Ruff and said, "I'm sorry, guy," and punched him right in the face, just knocked him the fuck out. And the referee had to call for the DQ. And Johnny's sitting there going, DQ, what just happened? What does this mean? And then you hear the announcer go, your winner and still NXT North American Champion, Leon Ruff. Gargano was not happy. I skipped the line here. Gargano was not happy. Damian Priest laughed. And there you go. Cameron Grimes cut a cocky promo ahead of his match, blindfold match with Dexter Lumis, which, well, was up next. The Grimes punched the referee by mistake. Remember, these guys are blindfolded. So that could be a DQ or maybe not. Because nothing was announced as being official. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't really know. Put the blindfolds on, which were more like sacks over their heads. Kind of like, oh no. That's how it usually is in wrestling when they do a blindfold match. They usually put a sack over their head. Grimes was freaking out as he ran into things while bumping around the ring. Lumis just stood there like a statue. Grimes ran into the referee, and he thought it was Lumis, so Grimes decked him. And then he began stomping on the ref. The official was also the zombie that Grimes has been terrified about for the last couple of weeks. Grimes took off his blindfold and saw that it was the ref that he knocked down. He tried for a sneak attack on Lumis, but Lumis sidestepped him. Lumis peppered him with punches, and Lumis also took his blindfold off. Lumis stalked Grimes when he tried to flee. Lumis threw Grimes into the barricade. Grimes hopped a chain link fence, and he fled the scene. So it's like, the fuck was this? There was no finish. It was billed as a blindfold match, and most of the action between the actual two wrestlers in the match, they didn't even have the blindfolds on. So that was one thing I didn't like about NXT tonight, was this match. Damian Priest was backstage, being scolded by William Regal, and I love this. Priest said that he was just joking around. Leon Ruff interrupted to confront Priest. He asked Priest to his face if Priest thought he was nothing more than a joke. Priest tried to apologize, but Ruff slapped him across the face. Ruff then stormed off, and Regal told Priest that he deserved every bit of that slap. And I go, okay. You're going to try something here with Leon Ruff. You're going to actually try to make him serious. And we get more of this even later on in the show. So, next up, it was Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell against Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. They had the heat on Catanzaro early until Carter tagged in to clean house on the heels. LeRae eventually got the better of Carter, and then LeRae executed a wicked stepsister to pick up the victory. Not much of a match here. A vignette that hyped up Arturo Ruas ahead of his next match, and so you think, okay, Ruas is winning this next match. And it's against Kushida. So I'm watching the match going, I really hope they don't beat Kushida. That would be unfortunate. And they didn't beat Kushida. And I actually liked that. I liked that they made us think, because they hyped up that it was Arturo Ruas match, that he's just going to get the victory. But no. I loved the finish of this match. Ruas went for a leg takedown, but Kushida countered by falling backwards and bridging into a pinning combination for a 3 count. Basically, it was Ruas was in control for a lot of this, which didn't go that long. And when he messed up slightly, he got caught. They hyped this up as Ruas' return, even though he was drafted in the main roster draft last month. I think he was drafted to Raw. But nope, he's back on NXT, starting up something, I guess, maybe with Kushida. He got beat clean, though, so I don't know. Next up, they had Ember Moon and Toni Storm taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. And I still don't know why this match took place. Why are Ember and Toni teaming? It makes no sense. So Storm was getting worked over early on, but made a comeback on Kai. Moon tagged in, and the babyface team cleared the ring before a commercial break. After the break, Moon ran wild after a hot tag, and she nailed Gonzalez with a super kick. Moon then leaped off the second rope and hit a flying code breaker. Moon went for a cover, but Kai broke up the count. The heels got the heat on Moon until a hot tag brought Storm back in. She delivered a series of German suplexes and then a fisherman's buster for a 2 that was broken up by Gonzalez. Moon came back in to take out Gonzalez. Storm and Kai collided with a double clothesline, which led to a double down. Later on in the match, Lariah and Eddie Hartwell would come down, kind of cause the distraction and whatnot. The referee became distracted and Gonzalez posted Storm. Moon saw it happen and she leapt through the ropes onto Gonzalez. Kai went to drag Storm to the center of the ring, but Storm hit a counter and trapped Kai with an inside cradle to pick up the victory. So Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are beat by Ember Moon and Toni Storm. I said Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell were there. They attacked Moon and Storm after the match. They rolled the baby faces back into the ring so Kai and Gonzalez can lay them out themselves. What I think is this is some recruiting. Candice, and I forgot to mention this actually, I skipped over this. War Games was announced December 6th on the WWE Network, and it will be Team Shotzi versus Team Candice. And I think Candice was recruiting tonight. I really do. I think Candice wants Dakota and Raquel, and I think Moon and Storm are going to join Shotzi. It just makes a lot of sense. But Shotzi needs a 4th. If you do 4-on-4, Shotzi needs a 4th. I don't know if they do 5-on-5, you get some more people involved in this, but as of right now, it does look like it could be 4-on-4. So who do you think could be that 4th member of Team Shotzi? Next up, we had Timothy Thatcher against August Gray. Not much to this match. Gray got in some brief offense early, then Thatcher picked him apart. Thatcher stretched Gray until Gray made a brief comeback. He tried a rope walk into a springboard, but Thatcher cut him down with an uppercut. Thatcher then went on to lock in a front face lock, and Gray tapped out. Not much to this match. Thatcher reapplied the submission after the bell, and Ciampa would come out. Ciampa came to the ring to confront Timothy Thatcher. He had a stare down with Thatcher, who told Ciampa he had no problem with him, backed down, and left. He didn't want to fight him. He don't want to fight him at all, but later in an interview, Ciampa said he wants to fight Timothy Thatcher. So next up, Damian Priest was coming out as he was, I guess, supposed to have a match. And as he was making his way down to the ring, he was attacked by Johnny Gargano. The two brawled in the ring, out the ring, all around ringside and everything until Leon Ruff would show up. Ruff, in a way, took out both guys. At one point, where was I? Priest hit a drop kick and a tilt-a-whirl head scissors had Ruff send Gargano crashing into Priest. Ruff then superkicked Gargano. An angry Priest went after Ruff, but he sidestepped Priest. Ruff drop kicked into both guys, which knocked Priest out of the ring, who was kind of stuck on the top rope. And then Ruff backdropped Gargano out of the ring onto Priest. Ruff stood tall with the NXT North American Championship. Priest and Gargano both rushed to the ring. Ruff slipped out and ran away. During the commercial break, Ruff told Regal, "Hey, I'll face both of them." Because Regal's like, "What the hell are you doing? What was all that about?" And he said, "No one takes me serious. So I had to prove to them that I am. And I'll face them both if that's what I got to do." And I really liked that. I really liked that they're trying to make something of this and not just like, "Oh, look, he got caught again. He's the champ because, he keeps getting lucky." No, it's he may be better than we think. And they're going to try and prove that. Poll here has subsided as far as NXT does go. What did you guys think of NXT? 80% said you liked it. 20% said you didn't like it. And nobody thought it was just all right. So going forward, Wade Barrett had an announcement. He said, "Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be on next week's show. But I got my replacement. And filling in on commentary is none other than Kevin Owens." Yes, it will be Kevin Owens Vic Joseph, and Beth Phoenix next week on NXT commentary. Hey, I'm down for that. Next up, we see William Regal basically go to Boa's home. He knocks on the door and goes, Boa, where have you been? You haven't reported to the PC in a week. And he's got these dark circles on his eyes, and he's just like, she's coming. I can't go to the PC. She's coming. You know, what do you mean you can't go to the PC? She? You mean Zaya? She hasn't reported for 2 weeks. And he's like, Zaya can't come. She's coming. I have to hide, or something like that. And he slams the door in Regal's face. What the fuck is coming? Who is coming? Is there some just big, nasty female from Japan that we don't know about that WWE has signed and is going to come wreck shop on these two and make them do her dirty work? I don't know. We saw the Grandmaster dude last week, and now she's coming, whoever that may be. I'm a little interested, but I'm not fully interested. Next up, we had the NXT Women's Championship match as Io Shirai defended against Rhea Ripley, and boy howdy, was this a hell of a match. This may have been the best thing on either. Well, I don't know if I could say that, actually. This was great, I'll say that. Because I think actually what we saw after this was the best thing on either show. Ripley was in control from the start of the match. She dominated with her power, and Ripley dropped Shirai on the apron, and Shirai took a hard shot. During the picture-in-picture break, Ripley stalled while Medical checked on Shirai. They kind of teased that Shirai would have to leave the match. They then stated that after this match, Finn Balor will be speaking on whatever he has to say as far as his future and the NXT Championship, which he really didn't talk about, to be honest. So Io Shirai made a comeback after the break, and she fired up on Ripley. Somehow Ripley suffered a cut, and she bled from her ear. Don't know exactly how that happened. Ripley ate a stiff shotgun dropkick, yet she still managed to escape a crossface attempt. They fought on, and Shirai targeted the arm. Shirai went to work on the arm, including a shoulder breaker on the apron. The match went through another picture-in-picture commercial break, and when the show returned from break, Ripley had given Shirai a superplex as the momentum had shifted in her favor. Ripley kept selling the shoulder, but she was still in control. Ripley applied her inverted cloverleaf submission hold and turned it into a giant swing. Shirai managed to reach the bottom rope and break the hold. On commentary, Barrett said, "This entire audience is on their feet." And I think the live crowd is always on their feet at NXT shows because I don't think they have chairs. Just saying. At one point, Shirai missed a moonsault, and Ripley hit her with a lariat for another near fall. Shirai again countered the riptide, and she spiked Ripley with a DDT. Ripley went on the apron when Shirai hit a sunset flip powerbomb. Ripley tried to block it to no avail. Shirai powerbombed Ripley through the announce desk, and Ripley teases a count out, but barely got in there at like 9.5 to break the count. Soon as Ripley got back in the ring, Shirai came off the top rope with a moonsault. Shirai then covered Ripley for a pinfall to retain the NXT Women's Championship. Here's the thing. Rhea Ripley loses this match tonight. Rhea Ripley does not regain the NXT Women's Championship, and after the match, we see both women embrace and hug it out. They hug it out on the ring, or on the ramp. And from what I have been told, is Rhea couldn't win this match because she's slated to be coming up to the main roster. I have also been told that we can see Rhea Ripley as early as this Friday because Rhea Ripley is under consideration for Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. So it looks like Rhea Ripley could be coming up to the main roster on SmackDown as early as this Friday. I don't know if maybe she's getting the Chelsea Green spot or if this was always something that was in consideration, but I was told today Rhea can't win, but she's coming to SmackDown. So we'll see if it all does come to fruition or if they change plans or anything. But as of right now, Rhea Ripley is under consideration to be one of the women on Team SmackDown at Survivor Series this Sunday. That wasn't all that happened on NXT. Oh boy, howdy, it was not. Boy, howdy. Finn Balor comes out as soon as this match ends, like he was waiting in the crowd. He congratulated Io on her win. And Balor said that he broke his jaw in 2 places, yet finished his match at TakeOver. He now has 3 plates in his jaw and is a bad son of a... And before he could finish his curse word, Pat McAfee and company would interrupt. McAfee came down and cut another amazing promo. McAfee said Balor is in their house. McAfee continued to brag about all the people that they've taken out in NXT since Balor's been away. McAfee and his heel faction surrounded Balor, and McAfee told Balor to hand over the championship. Balor said, "When the cat is away, the mice will play. The cat is back, and look what he dragged in." Then, Undisputed Era, all 4 members would come down to the ring, and they came in full frickin' force. Yes, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong all stormed down to the ring and rushed Pat McAfee and his crew. All 4 men were brawling as the show, just went off the air. Cole at one point laid out McAfee with a kick at ringside, and the brawling continued. So it looks like this could be the other War Games match. Pat McAfee and his brand, I guess you can call him, against the Undisputed Era. So it looks like both of these War Games matches will be 4-on-4. It looks like Finn has not been cleared yet to return to action. So there we go. That was NXT. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that is 510-906-1341. This first text message says, "Any update on what's next for the Rascals now that they're gone from Impact?" Yeah, it was reported last week that they're coming to NXT. Well, WWE. I would assume NXT. Now, from what I've heard, Trey Miguel has interest from AEW and WWE, but Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier, I think, from what I have heard, are just committed to going to WWE. But Trey has not made up his mind from what I heard and what was being said last week. So we'll see how that all does go. First says, "Do you think Tessa Blanchard could be debuting War Games as a mystery partner for Shotzi's team in 5-on-5? No, because I don't think that's how you use Tessa. Because if you bring Tessa in like that, she's just another random woman on the roster. I think, to be honest, if Tessa does come in, she has to come in and immediately challenge for the title. Because if not, she's just another woman on the roster. And there's another way you can do it. I digress. She could come in and just have a bunch of random singles matches, picking up badass victories after badass victories, and then going for the title. But I don't think she should come in for War Games and just be another woman on the roster. Because that's all she will be. She'll be the extra in this feud between Shotzi and Candice. And I don't want to see that with Tessa Blanchard. This person here says, "Why does AEW think that they are..." Wait, what? This is written weird. Hold on, let me reload this. It froze and the whole text for some reason didn't come in. Here we go. That's what I thought it said. "Why does AEW think they're Game of Thrones?" Because they said winter is coming on December 2nd. Their little Game of Thrones deal. Just looking at the chat really fast. All right, and we got one more text message here before we wrap things up. Let's load this one. For some reason, they're not wanting to load properly tonight. Damn Google. Come on. Here we go. "Do you think at War Games we'll be getting a triple threat match where Leon Ruff defends the title against both Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest?" Yeah. That's exactly what they teased tonight. And I think it'll be very interesting because I think Leon Ruff can go in there and do a lot of cool spots. I don't think he should win and retain, but I think he can go in there, do a lot of cool spots, and both Gargano and Priest, even though he doesn't win, could make him look like a viable threat in that match and put him over very, very, very strongly. So I think that is another great match that could happen. But with that, that's going to do it for tonight's reviews of both NXT and AEW Dynamite. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us here on either twitch.tv/PW Unlimited or youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember to follow us on social media, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. So with that, guys, We'll be back Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a great night, and we'll see you then.